This is part 1 of a 2-part history series. After this one, go watch part 2 on my friend's Turtles channel. Link in the description. Christmas, the time to be alive. Chestnuts roasting, presents opening, and jingle bells jingling. The season of giving and frantically emptying bank accounts. Christmas is a tradition that dates back for centuries, widely celebrated by Christians around the globe, even during the roughest of times. One of these rough times comes in the early 1900s, when the First World War is about to begin. Let's focus in on Europe in 1914. Europe was a melting pot of tensions at this point, filled with imperial militaristic empires who wanted to expand their influence and territories. In just the last century, Poland had been completely deleted for being cringe, and the British decided that the entirety of India was too free, and turned it into what was known as the British Raj. The ethnic Hungarians wanted freedom from Austria, but after Russian assistance and a few compromises, the Kingdom of Austria became the Kingdom of Austria-Hungary, also known as the dual monarchy. After the Crimean War, which was just a war between the Ottoman Empire and its allies in Russia, Austria kinda left Russia to die, even though the Russians just helped them quell the Hungarians. This upset the Russians, pushing Russia to ally with France and UK during the war. In 1871, the German Empire was formed after defeating the French in the Franco-Prussian War, which angered France. As a result of this, France allied with Russia and the UK as opposed to Germany during the World War. At this time, the Europeans realized that colonizing Africa would boost their power tenfold, so they capitalized on it. Austria-Hungary then annexed Bosnia and Herzegovina, an area full of Serbs, which made Serbians wish that Bosnia had joined the Kingdom of Serbia early on. The Ottomans then took a fat L to the Balkan League, which consisted of Serbia, Greece, Montenegro, and Romania. After they nearly kicked the Ottomans out of Europe, they turned their crosshairs to Bulgaria, who tried to fight all of their neighbors and former allies after not getting all of Macedonia, which was promised to them after the First Balkan War. Remember how a lot of Serbs in Bosnia wished it was part of Serbia? One such group of these Serbs was called the Black Hand. They hated the dual monarchy with a passion, so they decided to do something about it. On June 28th of 1914, the Archduke of Austria-Hungary, Franz Ferdinand, visited Sarajevo, Bosnia, around the time of the 525th anniversary of the Battle of Kosovo in 1389, a critically important battle in Serbian history. The Black Hand, already unhappy, were outraged by a foreign monarch parading around such a historically important time, and decided to take their chances then. The attempt was initially a fail after one of them threw a bomb at the car and missed, injuring some officers behind the Archduke. Rather than leaving Bosnia, Ferdinand went to visit them in the hospital himself. However, his driver made a wrong turn, conveniently going down the street where one of the assassins, Gavrilo Princip, had fled to. Gavrilo, who may have actually been buying a sandwich at the time, saw an extra opportunity, and he took it, shooting Franz Ferdinand and his wife dead. After Ferdinand was shot, Austria-Hungary obviously wasn't very happy, so they said, "Hey Serbia, screw you." And Serbia said, "I'm telling my mother." The mother, in this case, was Mother Russia. Germany, seeing Russia get involved, decides to defend his child Austria by declaring war on Serbia and Russia. After this, France said to Germany, "Hey man, could you maybe not?" No. Hi Belgium. Hi Germany, what's up? Bye Belgium. What? Germany marched its soldiers through Belgium, a neutral country at the time. France, and the UK as well, then joined the war to make Germany chill. It's July 28th, 1914, and one of the most infamous conflicts in history is about to begin. Let's look at this map. There's a lot going on, but what you need to know is that everyone hates each other, and that these guys are fighting against these guys. Soldiers were sent off to war promising they'd return by Christmas, being celebrated in the streets as they marched towards the front lines. However, nobody was prepared for a war this drastic. Months of egregious fighting in the trenches followed, starting at the Battle of the Marne, an offensive by the French alongside the British to take back German-occupied Belgium. Trench lines would form all up and down France at what would become the Western Front. By November of 1914, it was already getting cold. Rations were freezing and the living conditions of the soldiers in trenches was cold and wet 24/7. However, soldiers pushed through and battled through harsh winter. It was a hard-fought back and forth for not much land, and soldiers on both sides weren't seeing the point of the war anymore. As the war entered into December, the conditions got even worse. By this time, it was December 24th, and this was going to be the first Christmas that most soldiers would endure without their families, a heartbreaking reality to endure. On Christmas Eve, when night fell, soldiers on the German side raised lanterns and started singing Christmas carols in German to commemorate this holiday. After a few minutes, some daring soldiers wandered out of the trenches and into no man's land against the commands of their generals, and approached the German trenches. On the German side, they did the same. Inexplicably, all across the Western Front, men from both sides who had just been murdering each other hours before bet in the middle, and they shook hands.